Hi, this is Jim with the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality's Environmental Assistance Program. Welcome to this online tutorial on getting registered in the new Michigan Air Emissions Reporting System, or MAERS. The new MAERS provides users with a brand new way to complete and submit their MAERS reports. Unlike the old system, which required installation of software each year and the emailing of large database files to the department, the new MAERS is web-based. This format allows for a host of new features that will make your MAERS experience more convenient and efficient. The new MAERS allows users to access their MAERS account from any computer with internet access at any time. Users can easily manage account data, view historical records, add data using new tools and functions, identify errors easily at each screen, and collaborate with others to complete a MAERS report and submit that report online. But to access the new MAERS, you must be a registered user. Don't worry though, because registration is fast and easy, and this tutorial will provide you with step-by-step instructions. Before I can explain how to register, we need to take a few minutes to discuss a very important aspect of the system, and that is defining your role in the system. The first thing you will be asked during registration is what your role in MAERS will be. There are 4 roles to choose from: primary preparer, secondary preparer, consultant, or reviewer. Identifying your role in the system is important because it defines what privileges you will have access to. Let's discuss each of these roles and what they entail. Then I'll help you decide which role best fits you. The first and main role is that of the primary preparer. As its title implies, the primary preparer is the primary MAERS user at a facility. So this person must be employed at the company. The primary preparer is the only person that has access to the facility's MAERS account information. This means that they will have the ability to grant those registered under other user roles access to the facility's MAERS report. The primary preparer also has the ability to edit and submit the MAERS report. Each source must have one and only one primary preparer. So if only one person at a facility works on the MAERS report, then they should be the primary preparer. The secondary preparer is a MAERS user employed at the company other than the primary preparer. This person can edit MAERS data but cannot submit the report. A secondary preparer will not be able to access facility MAERS information until assigned to the source by the primary preparer. Many sources utilize an environmental consultant to help them complete their MAERS report. Consultants have their own user role. A consultant is not employed at any particular source, but when granted access to the facility data by the primary preparer, they will be able to access the source's MAERS report and make necessary edits. Like the secondary preparer, someone registered as a consultant can make edits to a facility's MAERS report, but cannot submit the MAERS report. Our final user role is that of the reviewer. This type of user is someone that only needs to be able to view a facility's MAERS report and data, but not make any edits or submit. As with the secondary preparer and consultant roles, a reviewer cannot access any facility MAERS information until assigned to the source by the primary preparer. So, do you know what role best fits you? If not, maybe I can help. Here are some things to think about. If you are the main point of contact for completing MAERS reports at your facility, or if you are the only person at your facility that completes a MAERS report, then you should be the primary preparer. If another person at your facility is going to be the primary preparer, but you will also be working on the report, then you should be the secondary preparer. If you are a consultant and will need access to one or several facility MAERS reports, then you should register as a consultant. If you are only interested in viewing MAERS data for a facility and not making any edits or changes, then you should register as a reviewer. Even if a facility hires a consultant to complete their MAERS report, that facility still needs to identify a primary preparer to manage the account information and submit the report. As you can see, the user role you choose will define what functions you can and cannot access in MAERS. Everyone who registers will be provided with a user ID and password, which will allow them to access the system. However, only the primary preparer has the ability to manage what users can access the source's MAERS report. Until other users have been given access, the primary preparer will be the only one that can view and edit the source's MAERS report. So if you are registered as a secondary preparer, consultant, or reviewer, you will be given a username and password and be able to access the MAERS system, but not access any facility MAERS data until the primary preparer gives you access to their report. Once you are given access, you will be able to log in and view and make edits to that facility's MAERS report. The primary preparer is also the only person that can submit the report. During the registration process, the primary preparer will be required to print, complete, and mail an electronic signature agreement. Once the department receives your agreement form, they will activate your account and you will be emailed a PIN. The PIN will be used to submit the MAERS report. Again, only the person designated as the primary preparer will be sent a PIN for submittal purposes. Now that you've chosen your user role in the system, let's talk about registration. Your gateway to MAERS and registration is the MAERS homepage. Once you're registered, this is where you will come to access the MAERS system and your MAERS data using your username and password. To register in MAERS, you will need to click on Self-Registration. In the self-registration screen, the first thing you'll need to do to create an account is select your user role. Now earlier we discussed how to select your user role, so at this point you should know whether you are a primary preparer, secondary preparer, consultant, or reviewer. If you choose primary preparer, some additional fields are required for you to fill out. So for example, we'll choose primary preparer. You'll have to complete some basic account information. Enter your first name, last name, create a username. You also enter in your employer name, job title, and email address, as well as your address and phone number. Note that only the fields with a red asterisk are required to be completed. If you're registering as a primary preparer, you'll have to answer several security questions. These are used to issue your PIN later on. If you're registering as a secondary preparer, consultant, or reviewer, you will not have to answer these questions. Be sure to complete each of the security questions listed. If you do not like the security question that's being asked, you can simply click on the drop-down box and change that question. After you've answered each of those questions, if you are a primary preparer, you will go down to the next portion of the form, which requires you to identify all facilities for which you will be the primary preparer. The first thing you should do is click on Retrieve Facility Data. When you do that, if there are any facilities associated with the email address that you entered up above, they will be pre-filled in these fields. If no facilities are pre-filled in these fields, then all you need to do is manually type in the facility name, address, and SRN for the facility to which you want to be associated. If you want to be the primary preparer for more than just one facility, all you need to do is click on the plus symbol in the corner, and a second field will appear. Enter in the second facility for which you want to be the primary preparer. If a facility appears in one of these fields, and you do not want to be the primary preparer for that facility, you can just click on the Delete button and it will delete that facility off. Again, down here what you're doing is you're entering in any facilities for which you want to be the primary preparer for. If you're registering as a secondary preparer, consultant, or reviewer, you will not have to complete this portion of the registration form. Everyone that registers must read the Agreements and Policies section and accept those agreements in order to get an account. Next, click on Create Account. If you are registering as a primary preparer, you have to complete this final step, which is to print, complete, and submit the electronic signature agreement form. If you're registering as a secondary preparer, consultant, or reviewer, you will not have to do this step, and you should receive an email with your username and password. So if you're going to be a primary preparer, you'll get this screen and you will click on Print. The signature agreement form will appear, and you should print it off and sign it and date it. Email the form to the address listed at the top of the form. Approximately 2 to 3 business days after the DEQ receives your form, you should receive an email that confirms that we've received your electronic signature form and that your account has been activated. You'll also receive your PIN at that time. At this point, whether you are a primary preparer, secondary preparer, consultant, or reviewer, you should have received an email from the DEQ with your username and password. You can then use the username and password to sign in to MAERS. If at any time you have problems registering in MAERS or signing on, you can click on the Contact MAERS link. Or you can send an email to info.maers@michigan.gov. You can also call your Air Quality Division District Inspector or the Environmental Assistance Center at 1-800-662-9278. Now that you've registered for MAERS, what's next? Well, if you're registered as a primary preparer, you will need to submit the electronic signature authorization form to the DEQ, if you haven't done so already. After a few business days, you should receive an email from the DEQ with your PIN and a notification that your user account has been activated. Once you receive this email, you will be able to access your MAERS account and add and delete users. In December, the DEQ will notify you that your MAERS report is ready to review. At that time, you will be able to log into MAERS and view your MAERS report, complete it, and submit it. If you have registered as a secondary preparer, consultant, or reviewer, you will be able to access MAERS with your new user ID and password. You can also view your account data. You will not be able to view any MAERS facility data until you have been granted permission to access that facility-specific data by the facility's primary preparer. You'll also have to wait until at least December, when the MAERS reports are available, to view any MAERS data after you've been granted permission. Now that you know how to register, let's take one more moment to review the registration process using an example. Sample Corporation has been notified via email that they are subject to MAERS reporting and should register to use the new MAERS. John, the environmental contact at the facility, has traditionally been in charge of completing the MAERS reports in the past. After reviewing the user roles discussed, he decides that he should be the primary preparer. So John goes to the MAERS website and registers as a primary preparer. As part of the registration process, John prints out the electronic signature authorization form, signs it, and mails it to the Department of Environmental Quality. When he checks his email, there will be a note that will include his new user ID and password. After a few days, John will get another email from the DEQ to let him know his account has been activated. This email will also contain his PIN. The PIN will be used in place of his signature when he is ready to submit. Now when John accesses MAERS, he will also be able to access Sample Corporation's MAERS report if it's ready. Usually, the MAERS reports are posted by the end of December. So if you are registering early, you may have to wait until December to actually view your report. The DEQ will be sending you an email around the end of December to let you know when your report is ready to view and complete. In the meantime, other people from other facilities and consultants will have registered for accounts in MAERS. These users will all have been issued a user ID and password. However, unless they are primary preparers, they will not be given access to a facility's data until they are granted access to that facility by the primary preparer for that facility. Every year, John uses Thomas as a consultant to help with the completion of their MAERS report. Thomas has already registered as a consultant and has been issued a user ID and password. However, he cannot yet view John's data for Sample Corporation until John gives him access. Once John gives him access to the report, both Thomas and John will be able to make edits and changes to the report as necessary. In the end, though, only John will be able to submit the report using the PIN he was given. This concludes our MAERS registration training. I encourage you to view some of the other helpful resources available to help you register in MAERS and complete your report. Materials such as the MAERS registration instructions and other MAERS tutorials can be found by accessing the MAERS homepage and clicking on Contact MAERS. If you have questions or comments, you can also send an email to info.maers@michigan.gov. You may also want to contact your DEQ Air Quality Division District Office, or you can also contact the Environmental Assistance Center at 1-800-662-9278. Thank you for viewing this tutorial.